Hi, everyone. I'm Denise O'Malley, the founder of You Define Wellness, and welcome to another episode in the Apple a Day series. If you've been following along, you know that what I'm doing is I'm introducing you to some of the healthy living experts that are part of the You Define Wellness Network. And today it is my distinct pleasure to introduce you to a little firecracker. Julie Korotkin with Evolve Journey is our provider today, and we're going to learn all about what it is she does. So Julie, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Denise. Appreciate it.
So tell us a little bit about Evolve Journey and the work that you do.
So Evolve Journey is my little company, my one-man show right now. And the work that I do, I speak and I coach and I train. Most of my clients are young adults who show up really anxious, chaotic, and insecure, and that anxiety is kind of the driver in their life. And through their work in my coaching program and my live events, my clients are able to step into a place of deep self-knowing, peace, confidence, and they get to build a roadmap to their most amazing life that suits them, not what everyone else thinks they should be doing.
Oh, wow. A roadmap sounds like a terrific tool to have.
Right?
All the chaos that's going on in our world. So that prompts the natural question of what made you go this direction? What prompted it?
No, it's interesting. There's a couple of stories that feed into how I got here. And one of which is my entryway into my adult life was really rocky. It was super crash and burn in my opinion.
Uh-huh.
I started college at 18 and I was super excited to go. And within 6 months, about 6 months, I was at home in rehab, suffering with depression, anxiety, and was really struggling with a bunch of substance abuse.
That is a rocky start to adulthood.
It was not pretty at all. You can ask my parents. And you know, it's now in being someone who's in middle adulthood and looking at how my life could have been had I had all the knowledge and tools that I have now, my life would have gone very differently. And so I am driven by my own personal experience to give young adults their best step out of the gate in building their lives.
That's amazing. And of course, you know that if you had not gone through that journey, you wouldn't be where you are today to help others.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's a tough thing to go through. So are you working with kids that are college age, middle life? Who are you working with?
If you look at my website says young adults ages 17 to 32. And I know that's a pretty broad span, and there's different needs at different stages. That's still that time frame in life is really when you're still building the foundation of who you are and where you're going, and there's so much opportunity to really create from nothing in those ages.
So you mentioned your website, so I'm going to show it really quick here so that people can find it.
Sure thing.
Definitely go over to Julie's website, evolvejourney.com, and this is what it's going to look like when you get there and nose around. So you're working with young adults, and that's a very unique age to be working with. What types of things are you doing with them? Is it all one-on-one? Is it group? How are you working with them?
Well, right now, I offer a 108-day coaching program.
Okay, 108 days.
I know that. So that doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, weird.
It rings a bell for some people. 108 is a very auspicious number in a number of different cultures and religions and spiritual foundations. So like this mala that I'm wearing, 108 beads. And if you look up 108, you'll see all kinds of information about why it's an important number. And it depends on what you believe and what your interpretation is. So I feel like it's a really good entree into discovering your spirituality if you don't have one. And it's also another way to just start the conversation about spirituality, because it is a really big, important component of my program.
So how receptive is this age group?
What I'm finding is that there are a lot of young adults who are scared. And if they have supportive adults in their life, older adults, they're much more likely to be wanting to engage here, because they have people around them saying, hey, we want you to do amazing things with yourself. And I can't support you necessarily, but I can help you find someone that can. And so I think if a young adult has that kind of a support system, it feels safer and easier for them to step into the work.
Interesting. I would think from a business perspective, your marketing needs to be a little bit different, in that you need to be communicating with them where they're at. Are you doing some of that?
Communicating
with that age group, 18 to 32, with where they're at, because they're not necessarily on the same social platforms that I'm going to be on.
Exactly. So when I reach out into the community, I have two sets of messaging. One is for the parents and grandparents of the young adults. Yeah. And I actually give a talk on how to help your adult child succeed without pushing them away. And that's something that's always available. And then the other prong is reaching into the young adult community. And I'm in the process of moving into giving some presentations in the university space. And I'm looking to connect with the people who are involved in that late high school transition stage, people who are working in that field, so I can get in front of the young adults and let them know what I'm up to.
Awesome. So tell me about their experience when they go into one of your programs. What is it that they're going to be receiving and getting out of it?
So my program is actually a 5-step system. Okay. And in the first step, we actually get clear about what it is that they want to accomplish. It's an assessment process based on my model of holistic well-being. There's actually a quiz they get to take, and they get to kind of look at their lives they start to look at their lives through this lens of holistic well-being, which is the model that I use for my work. And that was the other thing that created this whole business, was this model. Uh-huh. And so in that first phase, there's 2 pieces to clearing. It's one, getting clear about what your goals are and what you want to accomplish during the program, but it's also clearing yourself, clearing the junk that's in your way, and starting to implement tools and techniques that will help you stay in a place of creation rather than a place of old thinking and old belief systems. So one of the first things that we learn in the program is intention setting. And the intention setting model that I use is actually twofold. And so that's sort of the big foundational piece. It's, I'm intending XYZ while I am in allowance for everything to show up. So that there's no make wrong, so to speak. There's no, oh, I failed at my intention. It's more of, I have an intention and I'm also in the flow and accepting of all things that are. Does that make sense?
It does. So let's talk about goals for a second. So sure. Between the ages of 18 and 32, if you had asked me what my goals were, and I went through a lot of programs where they did ask me what my goals were. My goal was just to make it through another day. My goal was to make it to another position. My goal was to make it to a dollar amount, but it wasn't my life purpose goal, which I didn't even know what that was until I was in my mid-50s. But when you're working with the goals, I'm assuming, because I think I know how you work with people, that you're embracing wherever it is they're at, and they don't have to know their life purpose or the end result or the big picture. I mean, it can be small like
Yeah.
that, manage these goals and learn how to achieve those goals.
Exactly. And most often what I'm finding is the first round of coaching, this first 108 days, the goals are typically, I want to feel confident. I want to not be anxious and having panic attacks in the bathroom at work,
Yeah. Laughing when I'm
crying at
not
work.
laughing. Yeah.
That's a pretty typical kind of a thing. I don't want to be scared when I have to get up in front of my college class and read a poem or do a presentation. And a lot of times what I'm finding, the other big thing is there's a lack of connection to other people for this young generation.
I get
And,
that. Yes.
and a big component of the work that I do is around building community. That is another thing that is inside the whole 5-step system. And we work with that. So a lot of times it's community building, managing anxiety, and building a self-acceptance and self-love, really.
Yeah. I hadn't really thought about it. In that age bracket, your community has drastically changed. It's not the friends necessarily you had in high school, which you still have those connections, or the friends you had in college. And, we're getting them from maybe some of our work, and I apologize for my dog barking, folks, that they don't know necessarily how to build a community.
Exactly. And so inside the system, there's actually a one in step 4. In module 4 is where the community building training comes in, and we go through, there's like a conversational process, there's some visioning process, there's a lot of writing exercises that really help people map out who the people are in their world that they are connected to. And it also leaves room for, who do you want to be connected to? What really lights you up? And then we look at how their other strengths can help them build those relationships and step into starting to connect with other people.
Wow, I wish I wish I'd had this.
Me too.
30 years ago, I was I was given many opportunities at a very young age to have very high, powerful positions. But what it meant was, in the workplace, my peers were 20 to 30 years older than I was. And those that were my age were in positions that were lower than I was. And that it was like oil and water,
Yeah.
it was not meant to mix very well. So, man,
Alone at the top.
yeah. Oh, yeah. There was a lot of that went on. So, is this in person? Is this online? How are people working with you?
So the one-to-one coaching program is, all of our sessions are via Zoom, like this.
So you can work with anyone, anywhere in the world. There's no limit.
Anywhere in the world. I don't speak any other languages but English.
Okay, so some limitation.
That is a limitation. My French and Spanish is super broken. I say, when is the bathroom instead of, where. So yes, but I work with anyone, anywhere in the world. And my coaching program also comes with a bunch of other things. Okay. So they get me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week throughout the 108 days through a texting and voice app called Voxer. I give them email summaries and homework assignments and all their worksheets and videos through email after all the sessions. And they also get to download their top 3 favorite guided visualizations that are recorded on my website for free. That's kind of part of the package too.
Okay.
And is there something else? Maybe there's something else, but that's sort of the general gist. And there are 6 sessions that right now are 1 hour and 15 minutes inside of those 108 days. Oh yeah, and plus there's 2 additional 15-minute check-in calls sometime throughout those 108 days whenever people feel the need.
Yeah. That sounds amazing. So when they've gone through the 108 days and they're feeling renewed, are they now off on their own, or is there an opportunity to continue working with you? How does that work?
Of course, there is an opportunity to continue. I'm actually in the process of developing 108 days too, you could
Okay.
say. You know, there will be, and I've worked with people who have signed up for one coaching agreement and then chosen to go to the next one. So that is certainly an option. It would look different than the first 108 days because it's really organized and step by step. And then I think in a second coaching program, there's going to be more customization one-on-one and really building upon the layers of holistic well-being in their life that's still not working for them or that they want to improve upon.
So I've heard from people who have kind of rolled their eyes when talking about coaching programs. It's like,
Absolutely.
oh man, you can go do all this stuff on your own. There's books out there. There's a million YouTube videos that you don't need to hire a coach. So what's your answer to that?
My answer to that is, if you really are dedicated to yourself, you want an amazing life, you are committed to being the highest and best you can be, the only way you're going to get there is with ongoing accountability and support through your transformation. A book that you buy and you read the first 2 chapters of, and then it collects dust on your nightstand, which my pile is like 10 feet high, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to transform your life. And so people who buy into coaching programs, who participate in this work, are committed, and they are not willing to settle for a mediocre life, period.
Fantastic response. For those watching this video, here's what just to reinforce what she just said. Every professional athlete out there has a coach. You think they don't know their game? They do. So that's what a coach is. It's not your instructor on how to swing the golf club. It's how to swing the golf club more effectively. So it's definitely a reinforcement. So definitely kudos. So Julie, the timer that went off just a minute or so ago was just our warning that we're getting close to our end of our time. And this is where I like to ask you, what do you want to include that we haven't had a chance to talk about yet?
I think I'd like to just mention the rest of the program and kind of how it looks. Perfect. So that people understand what they get, and especially the middle module, the third module of the program. So that first part is assessing, getting goals done, learning to set intentions versus declarations, etc. The second module is really just all about that mind-body-breath connection. You learn a lot of breathing techniques. You learn 4 breathing techniques, 2 forms of meditation, 2 forms of progressive relaxation. There's a bunch of things. It's all about like using the connection of body and breath to calm that anxiety. But the big central component to the program is what I call creation visualization. And I consider myself a master of visualization. It's just something that I've been doing since I was in my early 20s for people, and I love it. And so what I do is I actually do the creation visualization is when I go in and give people an opportunity to go really deep into their subconscious, and I give them a somewhat blank slate from which to create their life. And that work is done after they've learned some connection techniques to the body so that they can really go inside of themselves and feel comfortable in doing that. And this is where the rubber meets the road in the program, because through that creation visualization, this is where the answers to what they really want their life to look like in the future is revealed. Because you can't really dream in conversation. And so this is a different kind of access to finding what your dreams are. And then once we get there, we continue to work on those internal pieces that aren't working. And they also get to that 4th step in the model. The 4th step is looking at your purpose in the world, getting in touch with your community, and also looking at the environment. So those external pieces. And then the last part is creating that roadmap.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. There goes the dog again. Sorry. I know you guys can hear it on the background.
It's very busy.
She's letting us, she's guarding the front door. What can I say? So
I ask you to click on that freebies little, there. just
bet.
so people know that they can grab a free visualization right here. It's the Mindful Meadow. It's a lovely little, I think it's 7 or 8 minutes. And then the next download below that is actually just the visual of the model of holistic well-being that all the work in my program is done through.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm also going to show this tab. This is how you can contact Julie. Go to her website, evolvejourney.com, EVOLVE journey.com. And we have your phone number and your email address on here. So they can either fill out the form or they can just reach out to you through phone or email, right?
Absolutely. Anytime. Or if you just fill in that form, it goes straight to my inbox. So I would love to hear from folks.
That's fantastic. With that being said, we're at the end of our time for this. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming on and letting us share more about the work that you're doing and the company. And I really appreciate it. I think what you're doing is very valuable resource out there.
Thank you. Thanks, Denise.
And for all of you watching this video, thank you also for tuning in. And make sure you check out our video library at youdefinewellness.com. That's Y-O-U, definewellness.com, because nobody should be defining wellness in your own life except you.